Hello everybody, this is Zaxterion. In this video, people, I want to talk just for a couple of minutes about people, you and I, and people online. And in recent years, let's be honest, over the last 10 years, especially online, I have seen what feels like a rising hatred and segregation of people based on their sexual orientation and their gender identity. Let's just go ahead and talk about everybody in the LGBTQIA community. So, what we're talking about here is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, even people that are questioning their sexual orientation, intersex and asexual people. People that, especially based on such something that's an important part of our life and relationships or whatever, I feel like people that aren't the norm or what we feel is the norm are segregated by the rest of us, especially online. And way too often when I'm playing online games, I see and feel this even though it doesn't affect me directly. I want to go ahead and stand my ground and put my foot down and say that I 100%, back up and support the entire LGBTQIA community, no matter who you are out there. And I've showed my support for this. If you look back over the many years that I've been live streaming video games, I had no problem playing games like Life is Strange and handling the relationship between Rachel and Chloe. I could understand and feel emotion based on their feelings towards each other. I've also played games that were much more about a personal gay relationship between two men. Even though I'm a straight male myself, games like Fragments of Him, because it had a good story, because it was a well-made game, and because I was, curious about what the story was about, I had no problem live streaming games like Fragments of Him when that was a new game on Steam several years ago. Now, I try to show my support for this community in little ways, even in the little indie games that I make. I want to go ahead and start with my most recently released game on Steam, which was, of course, Zaxterion Space Frenzy. Now, let's go ahead and go back, guys, to one of my favorite comic strips when I was growing up as a child, and that was Calvin and Hobbes. Now, Calvin and Hobbes, I still think, is epic. I really only wish that they had ever made like 30-minute cartoons that, would have been aired on TV. I think those would have been great. I used to love Calvin's, like, his imagination, because I feel like I've always had a pretty vivid imagination myself. When I used to read the comic strips, one reason I love the comic strips so much was because I'm sure, as many people who love this comic strip, they could relate to Calvin's creativity and his wild imagination. So in many of his comic strips, he talked about a transmogrifier, yeah, which was a, basically completely made up item, and he would usually use like a cardboard box or whatever to represent what he called the transmogrifier and how it could transmogrify different things just by, doing different things or whatever. And every comic strip was a little bit different in how he used this particular transmogrifier gun or transmogrifier, which was a cardboard box or whatever. And some of those was hilarious. So as I got older, I kind of made up my own variation of Calvin's transmogrifier. And in my most recent game, Zaxterion, I called an item completely made up in Zaxterion a transmogrifier. So guys, if you haven't seen my video trailers or my most recent Steam game, Zaxterion Space Frenzy, I highly recommend you check it out. It's on Steam right now. It has been since September of 2022. And in this game, I made it so you could play up to 10 different spaceships. Each spaceship that I created in the game is something that you have to earn by playing the game, and each has its own special ability. For example, Poggers here in his own spaceship has the ability to do a space hop in a spaceship and break apart asteroids and bounce off enemies and damage the enemies. But the Big Brother ship here sells an item called a transmogrifier. And the transmogrifier basically gives you 150% of the typical rhodium that you would get from killing the skull enemy in my game. And the rhodium is very important to help you upgrade your ship as you play and buy more shielding, better ammo efficiency, more power up time, and many other things from the Big Brother ship that offers the transmogrifier. So you'll notice that the colors for my transmogrifier directly match the transgender flag. It's little things like this and little ways, people, that we can show our support and our respect even to communities that we may not be in ourselves, or even if we don't have a family or people that we love that are part of this community. So I think it's really important that we show respect and at least not show disrespect when we're playing online games and talking to other people online about a community maybe that we don't really know a whole lot about, maybe we don't really understand. It's completely understandable that we may not understand why someone is born the way they are or why somebody has the preferences that they do as they go through their life. But one thing I've learned in my life is it's really easy to judge somebody in their life. Now, maybe judging a homeless person and think that they're trash or they're lazy because they won't get a job or whatever, but we don't know what happened to that person that we see on the street sitting on the sidewalk begging for change or whatever. And too many of us, without a second thought, just assume that they're a drunkard or that they made terrible decisions in their life that put them where they are, and without knowing exactly what happened in their life that put them there. So it's really easy to judge people, and I think that we all need to make a concerted effort to not be so judgmental of other people that we don't really know or understand. So I wanted to just make this video and let everybody know that I 100 support you, no matter what color your skin is or what your sexual preferences or orientation or gender identity might be. This is Zaxter99, and spread the love, people. It's so easy to point your fingers and to condemn somebody. It's so much harder to show a little bit of love to somebody you may not understand or know anything about. So I hope that you spread the message with this. I hope that you can take something from this video and learn to open your heart just a little bit to somebody out there that you may not understand or that you may not know much about. This has been Zaxter99. Thanks so much, everybody, for being here and watching this video. Have a great day or night out there, whatever time it is in your part of the world. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.